Gravel Bike California here to give you a look at riding up to May Canyon all the way to Camp 9. Now, most of the year, this is a ride you could pull off on a road bike, but I prefer riding on 40s because it gives you the option of doing dirt into the Santa Clarita Valley or across the San Gabriel Mountains. We're gonna throw in a few surprises here and there, and hopefully even snow. So, let's roll. We started out in the Lakeview Terrace area, near the 7-Eleven, strangely embedded within all this residential. Instead of taking a more direct route up Foothill Boulevard, we decided to go into the foothills, up one of the most unique areas of the valley, Kegel Canyon. It's a 2.5-mile climb, averaging a deceptive 5%, taking you through this out-of-the-way neighborhood where part of the allure is its seclusion. As the hills taper back, there are less details in the vertical as you come across one of the most innocuous landmarks of the valley. Right now, me and Vic are going to defy the laws of physics as we go through Gravity Hill. Whoa, I feel like I'm on the moon! Somehow, this section has gained notoriety, being more of an optical illusion than anything else. Did you feel a loss of gravity, or maybe that was going the wrong way?
I was floating, you didn't see?
Oh my God.
I was completely off the ground.
Oh my God. This is gonna play to our audience, these lies. The pitch settles back as you make it through the solitude of these cemetery grounds. But take advantage of the big dip because it quickly turns into a momentum halting moment. From here, it's only a 1/3 of a mile climb at 11%, which attracts a lot of cyclists. But there's reason why it's tougher than the numbers. So at the top of this climb, you cross the Kegel motorway, which I'll talk about later. Reaching the high point is a problem because whether you come up the way we came or Lopez Canyon, the winds always hit you from the southwest, meaning it's extra tough no matter which way you try. Making a short way down Lopez Canyon, we quickly hit the turnoff onto Pacoima motorway. This 1/5 of a mile climb barely registers on Strava's heat map. But at this short distance, failure is a palatable option. All right, doesn't seem so bad. You can definitely see the signs of tire tracks being here recently, going further up, but our way back down, right?
What?
He agreed with me. Reaching the top, it's evident which way to head down. And the semi-rocky surface was in decent enough of shape to negotiate. If you wander about, you may be trespassing. But the direct way out is following the single track, which ends this adventure on dirt the same way it started for us. At least I got my first crash of the year out of the way.
I got it, don't worry.
Exiting out onto Harding, we made our way up towards Mission College and on maybe the most protected bike lane in the Great 1-8. Winding your way through Sylmar, takes you up steeper than normal suburban streets. But eventually, you'll wiggle your way, entering a popular park where you can get ready for the main climb of the day. Veterans Memorial Park sits at the mouth of May Canyon. It's a great spot if you need to grab some water or a restroom break before you head up. It's also a place where SoCal Cross holds an annual cyclocross race, where I once won 2 races in one day. Fun fact, I also won 2 races in one day here, which I don't know if I mentioned earlier about winning 2 races in one day. Following the aligned shroud of trees takes you through the gates where May Canyon begins. It's almost 5 miles heading up to the first junction, averaging a sturdy 7.4%, meandering in and out of the hillside. The first quarter of the climb is the toughest, where you'll spend a significant amount of time in the double digits through an obstacle course of hikers. At least the road is solidly paved in this part, adding some grip. But as you emerge out of the canyon, the surface starts to break down as a road over 80 years old should. The fragmented segments are sporadic enough that you can get away with riding up on 25s. But I try to avoid coming downhill, not just from the foot traffic, but also the difficulty of judging the surface conditions at these speeds. I'll show you why. May Canyon takes on a whole new flavor from here, between a dichotomy of zeroing in on seclusion and flipping back to boundless urbanism. Yeah, that's one thing about May Canyon is you get up really quickly. You kind of forget this is just a valley here, but it's got 2 million people living in it. It's bigger than most cities in the US. Now I think we're only about 2 miles up too, but you can kind of see right behind us where Camp 9 is. An hour? Hikers become more sparse the higher up you go. The main note as you reach the top is how the weather conditions change, as you'll experience a big dip in temperature with a good chance of fogginess, which we avoided. May Canyon turns inward for the final few hundred yards, not just bringing you to the junction, but a whole new look. Well, we made it up to the junction of the Santa Clara Truck Trail. It snowed a couple days ago, and I'd be lying if I'm not saying I wasn't disappointed we didn't find any snow up here. As you take a look around, yeah, a lot of the close by mountains got blanketed. Just not us. Heading southeast, it's only a mile and a half to Camp 9 with grades that shouldn't be an issue. It's the most dirt you'll see on this climb, but it's pretty tame when it rears its head. You get some semblance of the forest where the foliage lands on the shaded side of the hill. Something from our resident botanist.
The tree is going into air. There's no dirt. So it's an air tree.
Is that the scientific term? This area was highly affected by the 2016 sand fire, which literally came right up to Camp 9. This fire station was previously part of a network of 16 Nike missile sites that circled Los Angeles, which were decommissioned in 1968 including the site mentioned on our Santa Monica Mountains video. Now, this is a large complex for firefighters and helicopters, and a great place to plan a pit stop with bathrooms and welcoming winter warmth, but beware attacking your thirst. The other great thing about Camp 9 is the water. For one pro tip, don't stand in front of it. Heading out, it feels like time for payback. It's a fun 4-mile descent to Little Tujunga, but always be on point for all the people heading up. The road intersects at Bear Divide, where another station didn't make it out as well from the sand fire. To the left, Santa Clara Truck Trail continues on just 100 yards away, where there's dirt options up to Magic Mountain and Mount Gleason. Instead, we continued our roller coastering south down Little Tujunga for another couple of miles until it flattens out briefly, where what few homes remain are in different stages of recovery. This let up is only a prelude, as you've got 1 more 1.5 mile effort of climbing at an unwelcome 7.5%. It is steeper at the bottom to make you extra grumbly, but you welcome the switchbacks, not just for their ease, but also the opportunity to take in this canyon from different angles. So when you hit the summit of your last climb here on Little T, there's actually 2 dirt options. One, heading east is Mendenhall Ridge, which takes you out to Mount Gleason. The other is Kegel, which takes you back to the top point of Kegel Canyon, which freaks me out because not a lot of people have done it. If you aren't already downhilled out, you have another 7 miles where your 40 millimeters can hit 40 miles an hour around these fun curves that once saw the Tour of California climb them in 2016. Is that Bradley Wiggins in the back? As it flattens out, say hello to horse country, as people have been settling in this ranch land for 100 years before saying goodbye to Little Tujunga and the end of today's loop. So there you go. It turned out to be about 30 miles and 4,500 feet. And with the rains happening just a couple days ago, it held up pretty good. I'll be sharing a route description, the links below, and also you can find more routes if you subscribe to Patreon. So follow along, I'll bring you more from the State of Dirt.